What if I told you that simply cutting her off, the classic no contact, isn't the power move you think it is? You might believe that going silent, vanishing without a trace will crush her, make her miss you, break her ego. But here's the cold, hard truth. Most women expect it. Some even wait for it. It doesn't surprise them. It doesn't shake them. No contact? It creates silence, sure, but it doesn't flip the script. It doesn't make her regret losing you. Look, you gave her everything, your time, your loyalty, your heart. And when she walked away, she didn't just leave you alone. She planted seeds of doubt deep inside you. That pain, that's not just heartbreak. It's a wake-up call, telling you that what you've been doing isn't enough. This video isn't about petty revenge. It's not about chasing her or begging for her back. It's about becoming the man whose silence is heavy with power, so powerful that she can't ignore it, can't forget it, and can't help but regret letting you go. I'm James, and today I'm revealing a Stoic move that will crush her ego without you having to say a single word. If you're done being haunted by memories and ready to take back your power, hit subscribe now, because what I'm about to show you will change everything. Stay with me until the end, because the final secret I share will completely destroy the ego that tried to break you. Let's dive in. First things first, you've got to burn the damn illusion, because here's the brutal reality. You're not really grieving her. What's killing you isn't the woman she was, but the perfect version of her that you built up inside your head. You imagined someone who got you, the one who said all the right things, who made you feel seen, valued, maybe even promised forever. But guess what? That version, it wasn't real. It was a fantasy stitched together by your loyalty, your hope, and that desperate need to finally be the guy she'd choose. Now let me ask you, what did she actually do? Did she just vanish without a word? Did she toss you crumbs, keeping you hooked, feeding you just enough to stay caught? Did she play the victim, then run off to someone else while you were still bleeding on the floor? That's not love, that's not loyalty, that's pure ego. And every time you find yourself scrolling through old texts, replaying those good times, or holding on to that special version of her, you're not facing the truth, you're feeding the illusion. And that illusion, that's the engine that keeps her power alive in your mind. That's how her ego keeps winning, because you're still putting her on a pedestal she doesn't deserve. This is your first real move in taking back control. Burn that pedestal down to ashes. A true Stoic? He doesn't fall for fairy tales. He faces the cold, hard truth even when it stings like hell. Stop telling yourself she was one of a kind, or the one that got away. That's your cage. That mindset chains you. When you finally strip away the emotional haze, when you see her for what she really was, you'll recognize all the signs you ignored, the red flags you waved off, the toxic cycles you made excuses for, the chaos you labeled as passion. She wasn't your soulmate, she was your teacher. And the lesson? Stop worshiping potential. Stop confusing chaos for love. Start respecting yourself more than your attachment. Burn the illusion, because in those ashes you'll finally see the truth. She didn't break your heart. She exposed exactly where you didn't set the line. That's Stoicism in action right there. The courage to see what is, not what you wish it to be. The strength to stop reacting to illusions and start mastering yourself. Now that's power. Step 2. Become unreachable. Look, man, any guy can go silent. Any guy can hit block, toss his phone to the side, disappear for a week and think that's power. But let me hit you with the raw truth. Silence without transformation is just another form of noise. You think ghosting her is going to shake her world? It won't, because she's seen it before, and if she's even halfway attractive, she's probably trained to expect it. She won't lose sleep just because you vanished from her notifications, but you know what does get under her skin? When you become truly unreachable, not just physically, not just digitally, but emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. I'm talking about a complete shift in energy, not the kind that says, "I'm hurt, so I'm hiding." I'm talking about the energy of a man who has leveled up so much that she no longer has access to him, not because he blocked her, but because he outgrew her. Let me ask you something real. Are you posting sad boy quotes hoping she'll accidentally see them? Dropping those subtle stories trying to show her you've changed? Still checking who's watching? Bro, that's not detachment, that's emotional begging dressed in digital disguise. And she knows it. She can smell that neediness through the screen. And guess what? Neediness feeds her ego. You're still dancing for her attention, just in silence. But a Stoic man, he doesn't dance for approval, he doesn't react, he doesn't explain himself. He understands this ancient truth. The more we value what lies outside our control, the less control we have, Epictetus. And what's more outside your control than her attention? Becoming unreachable means mastering yourself so deeply that even if she walked into the same room as you, she wouldn't feel a single ripple in your energy. That's Stoicism in motion. Not just theory, embodied truth, the kind that builds an unshakable core. Because when you've built a life so full, so focused, so grounded in purpose, you're no longer trying to get her back. You're not trying to win. You are the win. Now listen to this part closely, because this is where most men fumble. If you still react to her silence, if your chest still tightens when she views your story, if she still has the power to make you question yourself, then you're not unreachable. You're just pretending, and pretending is fragile. Becoming unreachable means removing her from the throne of your mind. You stop checking, you stop waiting, you stop wondering. She becomes just another lesson. Just another page in your story, not the whole damn book. And here's the psychological twist most women never admit out loud. They can handle your anger, they can handle your coldness, hell, some even feed off the drama. But true indifference, that serene masculine void where you hold zero emotional charge, that's what breaks their ego. Because now she doesn't know what to do. There's no script for a man who's healed. There's no defense against a man who no longer needs her reaction to validate his worth. That's when she starts wondering, did he move on? Was I not as special as I thought? What if he never comes back? And guess what? That's the exact moment the power flips. Not when you leave her on read, but when she realizes she no longer lives in your head rent-free. So if you're still looking for ways to get her to notice you, you're not ready. But if you're ready to rebuild your mind, to reclaim your peace, to embrace the silence not as a game but as a weapon of power and presence, then congratulations. You're already halfway to becoming the kind of man who doesn't just disappear, he evolves. Stay locked in, because what's coming next, it'll make her ego fold without you saying a single damn word. Step 3. Master the silence. Let me be brutally honest with you. Most men, they treat silence like a punishment, like some emotional purgatorio, waiting in the dark, checking their phones every 5 minutes, praying for a damn text that never comes. You know that phase, where your mind replays every moment, where you wonder, was I not enough? Did she ever care? Will she even notice I'm gone? That's not strength. That's not patience. That's dependency wearing a mask. You think you're being strategic, doing no contact like it's some master plan to win her back, but deep down, you're hoping to be rescued by her attention. Here's the raw truth, and it's gonna sting. Real men don't wait, they build, they become. Silence isn't a void, it's the fucking forge, and the Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, they didn't run from discomfort, they sat in it. They stared into the abyss until it stopped scaring them. Because that quiet, the one that makes most guys crumble, that's where your power starts. No likes, no I miss you, no fake closure from her end, just you and your reality. The wounds, the regrets, the raw, unfiltered version of you that no one claps for. And that's exactly where the transformation begins. While she's out there posting thirst traps, fishing for validation, you're sharpening your discipline like a blade. You're turning inward into the temple of silence and doing the one thing most men are too afraid to do: face themselves. You're not scrolling, you're not chasing, you're training. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Silence becomes your gym, your war room, your battlefield. You stop looking for comfort and you start building resilience. And here's what's insane. When you master the silence, truly master it, you start walking different. You speak with less noise but more weight. You no longer need to be seen, because your energy is loud enough. And the best part, she will feel it, but not in the way you think, not through a message, not through a reaction. She'll feel it in the shift, the calm, unshakable presence you now carry, because she won't recognize this version of you. Hell, most men won't. Why? Because you stopped waiting for someone else to validate your worth. You became the man who doesn't just survive the silence, he dominates it. No contact isn't about making her miss you. It's about making you remember who the hell you are. So don't just go quiet, go inward, go deeper, and rise so far above her expectations that she no longer knows how to approach you again. Because the man who can sit in silence and build, he becomes the man no one can ignore. Step 4. The mirror effect. Let me tell you something that most men refuse to accept. You don't crush her ego by pouring your heart out in a 3-paragraph text message. You don't win by trying to explain how much she hurt you or by begging for closure she already decided you won't get. That's not power, that's emotional slavery. See, most guys, good men, loyal men, they try to be understood. They think if they just say the right words, she'll finally get it. But that mindset, that's what keeps you stuck in her frame. That's what feeds her ego, not challenges it. Now here's the truth, raw and unfiltered. If you really want to shake her soul, you don't say a word. You become the mirror. A cold, silent, unshakable mirror. Not to punish her, but to reflect every single choice she made. Every time she disrespected you. Every time she played games, tested your value, or walked away thinking you'd come crawling back. That silence, that's not you being weak. That's you stepping into your power, the kind of power that Stoic men mastered centuries ago. Because Marcus Aurelius said it best, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. You don't argue, you don't attack, you don't explain, you just become undeniable. That's Stoicism in its purest form, not detachment out of coldness, but clarity born from self-respect. You realize you were never in control of her emotions, only your response. So you stop reacting, you stop chasing, you stop showing up to a fight that was always rigged against you. And that's when the energy shifts. She starts to feel the silence, not just hear it, feel it. No drama, no validation, no attention hit from your reactions, just stillness. And in that stillness, she comes face to face with something terrifying, her own reflection. You gave her nothing to twist, nothing to use against you. No messy texts she can screenshot and laugh about with her friends. No weakness to poke holes in. Just space, just distance, just self-respect so sharp it cuts through her narrative like a blade. And the man she expected to crawl back, he's gone, but not out of revenge, out of evolution. You didn't become a new man to impress her. You became a better man because of her, or more accurately, because of what she awakened in you. That stings. Not because you hurt her, but because now she sees the version of you she'll never have again. The man she took for granted, reborn. And that mirror, it doesn't blink, it doesn't beg, it doesn't care if she regrets it or not. It just shows her the cost. So remember, you don't need to yell, you don't need to chase, you don't need to explain, you just hold up the mirror, and that is what she can't handle. Step 5. Cut off all validation, ruthlessly. Let me be brutally honest with you right now. Most men lose the game after the breakup, not during it. Why? Because they keep feeding the one thing that never deserved their energy in the first place, her ego. See, her ego doesn't need your love. It doesn't even crave your presence. What it feeds on is your attention, your reactions. That tiny flicker of emotion you still show, the view on her story, the passive like on her post, that vague caption meant for her to decode. Even when she's gone, she'll test the waters. She might double tap a reel of yours. She might randomly reply to a story with haha or some half-assed emoji. She might send that infamous, hey, just checking in. Don't be fooled. That's not love. That's not care. That's not her missing you. That's her ego asking, do I still have power over this man? And if you respond even subtly, you're telling her, yes, you do. Bro, most guys don't realize this. But even in silence, they're still screaming, you matter to me. Posting thirst traps hoping she'll watch. Dropping hints in your captions, ranting in vague tweets, trying to look unbothered just to get a reaction. All of it screams desperation in disguise. All of it confirms she's still living rent-free in your head. Now here's where Stoicism cuts through the noise like a blade. A Stoic man doesn't seek approval. He doesn't chase closure. He doesn't explain, justify, or beg to be seen. He understands a core truth. What you give your attention to owns you. So if she wanted space, give her a galaxy of silence. If she left, let her feel the weight of being forgotten, not punished, not hated, forgotten. You don't pull away with drama. You pull away with indifference so cold it echoes louder than any outburst ever could. No petty games, no emotional breadcrumbs, no digital validation. You disappear from her radar not to manipulate her but to liberate yourself. Because here's the punch in the throat. You don't evolve to make her regret. You evolve because you finally realize you were the damn prize all along. She's not entitled to witness your glow-up. She doesn't deserve front-row seats to your rebirth. This next chapter, she's not the main character. Hell, she's not even in the script anymore. And the moment she realizes she's not even worth a mention, that's when her ego starts to bleed. That's when the silence starts screaming louder than your love ever did. So cut the supply, starve the beast. Let your absence be your loudest message. Let your peace be the proof that she never had real power over you, just the illusion of it. And if you feel tempted to reach out to explain, to respond, to just check, pause, and remember, every reaction is a deposit into her ego account, and brother, she's already overdrawn. Now let me ask you something, brother. If what I'm saying is hitting home, if you're done carrying that weight and ready to turn the page for good, type this exact phrase in the comments right now. I forgive for power, not for peace. This isn't just a comment, it's a statement of who you're becoming. And when you write that, you're not just talking to me, you're sending a message to the world that you're no longer chained to your past. So drop that line, I forgive for power, not for peace. I'll be reading every single one because this is a brotherhood, and every man who comments strengthens the movement. Step 6, turn your pain into power. Let me tell you something that most men never hear, especially when they're bleeding inside. That pain you're feeling, it's not here to destroy you. It's here to wake you the hell up. See, you've been taught to fear pain, to run from it, to distract yourself. But a Stoic man doesn't fear the fire. He walks through it, because he knows what's on the other side. You've got two choices right now. Let the pain eat you alive, or use it as fuel to become a man even you barely recognize. I know it hurts. She ghosted you, lied to you, maybe even made you feel like you weren't enough. And now you're sitting there wondering, why me? What did I do wrong? That's not the right question. A man living by Stoic principles doesn't get stuck in why. He shifts, he pivots, he asks, what's next? That shift in mindset, that's the moment the game changes, because here's the truth no one tells you. She might have caused the wound, but you get to decide whether it becomes a scar or a sword. The man who turns heartbreak into obsession with self-improvement, that's the one women can't forget. You hit the gym not for revenge, but because your standards just rose. You chase your purpose with tunnel vision, not to prove something to her, but because you refuse to stay broken. She was a chapter. Now, you're writing an entirely new book, and she's not in this one. You start lifting heavier, thinking clearer, cutting people off without a second thought. You realize solitude isn't loneliness, it's clarity, discipline, control. And that fire inside you, it doesn't burn for her anymore. It burns for the man you're becoming. She wanted you emotionally weak, confused, always doubting yourself, but she doesn't get that version of you anymore. That man died. The man who rises from that grave, he's colder, sharper, not bitter but unshakable. He doesn't love from need. He loves if he chooses to, with eyes wide open and no illusions. And here's the brutal truth that crushes her ego more than silence ever will. She didn't break you, she built you. Not because she wanted to, but because you chose to alchemize the pain. That's Stoicism at its core. Not just accepting fate, but wielding it like a weapon. Every betrayal, you turned it into wisdom. Every silent night, you used it to sharpen your focus. Every ounce of rejection, you turned it into power reps in the gym, in your business, in your mindset. And now, she doesn't just miss you, she can't even reach you. Because the man she left behind isn't here anymore. In his place is a calm, grounded, dangerous man, one who no longer plays her game, one who lives by his own code, one who's unavailable not out of pride, but because he's leveled up to a place she was never built to follow. Step 7. Become the man she can't replace. Let's get real for a second. Most breakups, they don't destroy her, at least not right away. Nah, she walks away calm, almost casual, thinking there's someone better out there, as if you were just a placeholder, another name in her phone she won't remember next year. Like changing outfits, cold, calculated, forgettable. And that right there is your moment, not to text her, not to beg, not to chase, but to build. Because if you really want to burn that memory of you into her mind, you don't come back with a petty flex or fake glow-up. That's low-tier energy. You come back as a man she literally can't replace. Not because you got richer, not because you got leaner, but because you became real, rare, rooted. This isn't about becoming a version of yourself that screams for her validation. This is about becoming the version of you that commands respect in every room without saying a damn word. That's Stoicism. Not just the whole control what you can cliché, but true inner mastery. The kind of calm that rattles people, the discipline that turns heads, the purpose that doesn't flinch even when the world does. Ask yourself, how many men do you think she meets who aren't needy, who aren't soft, who aren't still orbiting her like sad little satellites hoping to get back in? Exactly. She's drowning in attention but starving for substance. So while she's out there recycling the same type of guy in a different wrapper, you become something unmistakably uncommon. You start lifting like every rep is a message to your past self. You start working like every win is proof you never needed her. You stop talking about your worth because now you're living it. You become grounded like stone, dangerous like silence, focused like a man with nothing left to prove. And when, not if, but when, she sees you again, whether through mutuals, stories, or a quiet stalk on your page at 2 a.m., she won't just see change, she'll feel absence. Not emptiness, your absence. A void she can't fill. A presence she underestimated and now can't access. That's the price she pays. And you say nothing. No subliminal posts. No petty wins. No fake humility. You just live, fully, fiercely, freely. Because now you've become the kind of man who doesn't need revenge. You became the lesson. And deep down, she knows she'll never find another you. Step 8. Build a new you in the shadows. Let me tell you something that most men never truly understand. You don't rebuild yourself in the spotlight. You don't level up with people watching, clapping, or validating your every move. Real transformation, it happens in the dark, in silence. When it's just you, your demons, and your decisions. No applause, no likes, no validation. Just long nights, early mornings, and that voice in your head saying, keep going, no one's coming to save you. And that's the part most guys screw up. The moment she walks away, they scramble to be seen. Posting stories in the gym, flashing their progress, dropping breadcrumbs online just hoping she'll check the profile. You know what that is? Desperation in disguise. It's still about her, still performing, still seeking approval. And as harsh as it sounds, that's weakness. Listen closely, brother. If you really want to shake her core, if you want to become the man she never saw coming and now can't even approach, you don't broadcast the process. You bury yourself in the shadows, and you build in silence. No glow-up captions, no thirst traps, no passive-aggressive quotes on your story. You just disappear. And while she's out there chasing temporary highs and half-built men, you're stacking your wins quietly, rewiring your mind, disciplining your body, sharpening your focus like a blade. This is where the Stoic mindset kicks in. Not just the cliché control what you can. No, I'm talking about the deeper layer, self-governance, inner empire, indifference to noise. Marcus Aurelius didn't write for the crowd. Epictetus didn't flex for attention. They mastered themselves in solitude, and that gave them power. You're not rebuilding for revenge. You're not chasing status to prove something. You're resurrecting the man you were supposed to be before the world beat it out of you. Let her keep thinking she knows who you are. Let her believe you're still the guy she walked away from. Because one day, maybe months from now, she'll hear your name again, and it'll hit different. Not because you posted it, but because people are whispering about you. Because your energy walks into rooms before you do. Because your silence speaks louder than her entire Instagram feed. This is your private season, your metamorphosis, your brutal rebirth, and here's the truth. She's not invited. This isn't her chapter anymore. She was just the prologue that pushed you into purpose, so let her think you vanished. Because when the new you finally steps into the light, she won't even recognize the man standing there, and that's exactly the point. Step 9, let her watch from afar. Look, you don't need to block her, you don't need to hide your life, you don't need to throw digital tantrums or delete her out of fear or pain. Let her see you, but only from a distance she can no longer cross, a distance she chose the moment she underestimated who you are becoming. That's where the real power lives. You're not being petty, you're being deliberate, strategic. You've rebuilt the foundation, you've reforged your frame. You've bled in silence, swallowed your pride, and sharpened your mind in the shadows. And now you walk like a man who's untouchable. And guess what? She sees it, even if she pretends not to. Even if she's still happy on Instagram. Let me tell you something cold and true. People always want what they can't have. And when you were easy, when you were always available, always texting first, always chasing, she took you for granted. Now, she has to watch the man she threw away evolve into someone she no longer recognizes. Not because you rubbed it in her face, but because your silence speaks louder than her entire contact list. And here's the part most guys mess up. They try to get noticed. They post thirst traps, cryptic quotes, gym selfies screaming, "Look at me now." Stop that weak performance. That's not growth. That's validation seeking wrapped in fake confidence. A real man doesn't need to be seen. A real man becomes someone so rare, so dialed in, so composed, that even when he's quiet, the world leans in to listen. That's Stoicism, not just don't react, not just control what you can. It's about cultivating inner fortitude, unshakable discipline, and detachment from external noise. It's amor fati, the love of fate. Whatever happened, happened. You don't dwell, you build, you elevate, and you do it without asking for permission or applause. So yeah, let her see that new business you're building. Let her hear about the book you're writing. Let her notice the glow up, not just in your looks, but in your presence. But don't do it for her. Do it because that's what men on a mission do. You don't post to prove. You post because your message is more important than her memory. You don't share to flex. You share to lead. Let her scroll in silence. Let her wonder who you've become. Let her feel the emptiness of being replaced, not by another woman, but by your purpose. And when she finally realizes that the door is permanently closed, that she is no longer a chapter in this new volume you're writing, that's when her ego begins to decay, slowly, painfully, silently. And you don't reach out. You don't explain. You don't look back. You move forward, calm, certain, rooted like a mountain, focused like a sniper, because you no longer live to impress her. You live to fulfill your potential. That's the real win. Not making her jealous, not getting even, but evolving so far beyond who you were that the old version of you, the one she left, is dead and buried. And the man standing now, he's not looking for closure, he is the closure. Step 10. Forgive for power, not peace. Let's get one thing straight. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's not some soft spiritual band-aid you slap on so you can feel zen. And it sure as hell isn't about letting her off the hook for what she did. Forgiveness is a weapon, sharp, strategic, ruthless in its silence. It's not about making peace with her, it's about taking your power back fully, finally. You see, when you forgive her, you're not saying what you did was okay. You're saying you don't get to live rent-free in my head anymore, and that's the final blow to her ego. Because when someone expects you to hate them, to lash out, to spiral, and you respond with nothing, not anger, not love, not a whisper, that silence screams louder than any message ever could. Here's a truth most men don't want to hear. You don't forgive for her. You forgive for you. You do it so you can drop the weight, the replaying of every memory, the endless why, the fake scenarios where she finally apologizes and you walk away like a movie hero. Let it go. That fantasy is poison dressed up like closure. Because if you're still holding resentment, you're not free. You're still chained to her. Still dancing to the rhythm of her ego, still stuck in the mental prison she left you in. A Stoic man knows better. He doesn't hold grudges, he doesn't obsess. He doesn't bleed for someone who already walked away. Because Stoicism isn't just about controlling what you can and releasing what you can't. It's about choosing what deserves your energy in the first place. And pain born from betrayal? It doesn't deserve a lifetime lease inside your soul. You forgive her, but not to reconnect, not to reach out, not to post some passive-aggressive quote hoping she sees it. No, you forgive, then you vanish, quietly, powerfully, without a single word. And that silence? It's not weakness, it's discipline. It's grace sharpened by pain. She expected drama. She expected you to crumble. She expected the nice guy to fall apart, but instead you transformed. Now you're not bitter, you're better. You're not hurting, you're healing, and you're doing it without needing her to see it. That's what really haunts her. Because here's the brutal truth. She didn't lose you when she left. She lost you the moment you stopped looking back. You stopped checking the profile. You stopped chasing closure. You stopped hoping she'd text. And you realized, no contact wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. Now you're playing a different game. While she's still looking for attention, you're building legacy. While she's chasing external validation, you're mastering internal truth. While she's stuck in cycles, you're moving forward with clarity, purpose, and silence. This isn't revenge, this is rebirth. You've become the man who doesn't need to be chosen because he's already chosen himself. That's the essence of Stoic power. You're not shaken by emotion. You don't need recognition. You act. You rise. You endure. You stand tall with fire behind your eyes and no apology in your step. And above all else, you remember who the hell you are. You are the storm. You are the calm. You are the man who turns heartbreak into fuel and silence into strategy. Let her wonder. Let her scroll. Let her drown in the mystery of your absence. Because while she plays games, you play chess. While she looks back, you look within. And while she tries to relive the past, you're rewriting your future. This is it. This is your time. Carved in solitude. Built in silence. Carried with discipline. Speak through your results. Move with unshakable self-respect, and never again let anyone confuse access with value. You're not broken. You're not bitter. You're reborn. All right, brother. If you really want to take control and make her feel what she never expected, don't stop here. The real game changer is in the next video. She'll miss you badly if you use these 5 psychological tricks. It's loaded with powerful moves that'll deepen everything we talked about today. So click on that video right here on the screen and keep leveling up. If you got value from this, hit that like button, subscribe to Stoic Command for more no BS wisdom, and drop a comment telling me which step you're starting to master first. Remember, this journey is about building yourself silent, strong, unstoppable. I'm here with you every step of the way. Let's keep rising.